let's get into it then. So, um, talk to us about the team story, the founding story, experience in DeFi, where you guys came from, why you why do this? I mean, I'm in DeFi and I don't have any desire to launch a protocol. Um, give me the nickel tour of the who and the why.
All right. Well, the high overview was that, like you mentioned already, the team started with Champion Finance, and I was not originally part of that team. Um, I got on just as an investor along the way. I had been involved in a couple other DeFi projects. A couple of them were tomb forks, so I understood what was going on. And when I got involved with Champion, the um, in the Discord, I just offered advice and stuff to people as I was going along and answered questions that they had, and the team saw me doing that and asked me to come on board in a little bit more official position to do that. So I did that with Champion and continued on as the that same role with Defender now that we're getting ready to launch this. The team has worked together uh, on several projects in the past. To be honest, I don't know what all they are. Most of the team is based in the Far East, and that was another reason that I kind of jumped on board with them to help them out. Was I'm in the United States, so they needed a little presence on this side of the globe too to help them out in that way. Um, so they just the original intent of Champion was to make it a multi-protocol, cross-platform system. And along the way, they decided instead to transition that to strictly stick with Avalanche, but have a multiple peg token environment there. But since they did want to move to other protocols too, specifically the next one they were planning was a Binance Smart Chain. They decided to launch a not totally separate, but a sister protocol, not just a continuation of Champion, because some of the fundamentals are a little bit different in Defender. There's a lot of similarities between the two, um, and some things that they'll share cross-platform. But um, so that was kind of how we got to where we are right at the moment.
Outstanding. And the peg token or the pegged token at Champion is USDC, and at Defender it is ETH, and Champion is the one on Avalanche, and Defender is the one on BSC, correct?
Uh, for the most part, that's correct. Champion actually has three peg tokens.
Oh, it
There's
does, yes. It has
yeah, yeah,
USDC, ETH, and BTC, correct?
right, correct.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like you said, yeah, there's just one peg token in Defender, pegged to ETH.
And so, just briefly explain why you went with USDC, ETH, and BTC rather than AVAX or something, because that's kind of the common, you know, that's the go-to for Tomb Forks is just peg to the L1 token.
Yeah,
And
sure.
we don't think it was a bad move to peg to any of these, but what was the thinking that went in, picking these?
The main thinking, I think, was it started off with USDC, and that choice was just to peg to a stable coin, which was kind of different than some people were doing. But the team has a big interest in Ethereum. So the second token on Champion was pegged to ETH, and then just as another major protocol, they did the same with Bitcoin. And since Ethereum is their major driving interest, when they carried it over to Binance with the Defender, we're just going with Ethereum on the Defender protocol.
So, oh, I totally just lost my train of thought here. Damn, I hate when that
Well,
happens.
glad to know that happens
I
to other
got it.
people too.
I got it. So one thing that's definitely different from these and the traditional tomb fork is, as far as I can tell, you guys don't have a bonding token, do you?
Um, I'm not sure what you mean by a bond. We don't do bonds in a typical way
Right. You guys have a
that
slightly different mechanism that
right,
holds the niche of the usual, buy this, buy it at a discount, and when it hits peg, you get reimbursed then.
right,
Uh, you guys have substituted an ROI contract node token for
correct.
that. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's accurate, and that's basically the same in both protocols. They're called uh, different titles in each, but it's called the Citadel in Defender, and it's called the Metal Pools in Champion. But basically, they're the same thing. And in effect, you are bonding um, the peg token into an LP that is into an ROI contract. Similar to nodes in some of the other protocols, but kind of based the technicalities of it are based on EMP's um, products, that they pioneered, kind of, and the rewards, how they're uh, passed out to the investors are kind of based on that same principle that they pioneered there.
So why was the choice made to use to not bond, to not use the traditional, just buy at a discount and bond until peg, and B, why did you choose to do nodes? Like, why was that the way that you chose to fill that niche in the traditional tomb eco?
Well, I guess it's technically, there's so many different definitions of nodes or whatever, so it's hard to tell what technically is a node anymore. But the choice was, and what's different about the Citadel in Defender and the Metal Pools in Champion is that um, token, or that LP that you put into bond, and we'll talk about Defender since that's what we're here today to talk about. Are and deposit it in the Citadel, and you get a Citadel token that's staked in the Citadel, and that earns rewards there. In addition, that you can um, stake that token into our boardroom, which is called the Fortress. I'm sorry, you don't stake it there. You stake the shield token there, but you also get the same. Instead of getting our peg token as a reward in the um, fortress, you get that Citadel token. So um, the rewards in there are not like a typical tomb fork where the investors get the peg token as rewards in the boardroom.
And that's interesting to me because that, in a lot of ways, is the Achilles heel of tomb forks. Because, like, what's the incentive to not dump your rewards? This is the thing that, like, nobody can figure out, is that
Right.
you are, at the end of the day, incentivized to dump your rewards, and somebody's gonna eventually, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. And most
Somebody's
people
eventually
do.
going to do it. People are
Yeah, no
not
matter.
going to take 30% out of that pool from now until the heat death of the universe.
Right.
Uh, they are going to dump. And so I think that that's a really good way to look at making the tomb ecosystem sustainable, is looking at ways to incentivize um, the holding of rewards. Now, with that said, say I want to dump all my Citadel, can I do that? That was unclear to me reading your docs. If that's like,
Okay.
say I just
Yeah.
want to get rid of all of my Citadel, is that am I able to do that? I know you guys
Yeah.
have a burn tax, and like I'm not talking about that,
Yeah.
but
Sure.
if I just go, hey, I'm done with this protocol, I want to sell all of it. Can I do that? Because I know with a lot of nodes, it's you can't.
Yes. That's another innovation in here that we've implemented that that lets you do that. Unlike, like you're saying, unlike nodes and other typical tomb forks that you can't ever get out of and that you're locked into forever. If your rewards go down to nothing, they go down to nothing, um, and there's nothing you can do about it. We do have a way through our peer-to-peer rebates that users can sell their CL tokens, but they're sold to another investor that's willing to come in and invest in the protocol. So what that does, and they sell them through the buyer creating a new LP to replace the LP that person that's selling the CL token is going to be taking out of the protocol. So in effect, the protocol isn't losing any. It's a net zero for the protocol. So money's not leaving our ecosystem at that time when
So then my
this.
question becomes is how liquid is the Citadel token then? Like if I want to sell it now, say I decide I want to sell all of my Citadels now,
Uh-huh.
how long does it take for me to be able to do that? Is it like, when you sell it, you buy an NFT and sell it for 10x, but it's going to be sitting there until you can find a 10x buyer. So is that kind of the situation with the Citadel token, or is it just like I sell it and it's gone and I got my cash?
Well, it's going to be, yeah, it's since this is something new, I guess that's a little bit of an unanswered question at this point. Um, it will be similar to a centralized exchange type of thing where a person will put that CL up for sale, and someone else will put up that they're willing to buy some CL. Um, and it may be that you have to sell it at a discount to get rid of it. It's already going to be at a discount because or somewhat of a discount because that CL has already earned a certain portion of the rewards that it would have been entitled to, um, had it been kept in the Citadel. It can earn up to 365% reward. So some of those rewards are going to already have been rewarded to that initial owner of the CL. Um, so the value of that CL would be reduced, and then uh, that corresponding discount would get passed on to the buyer.
But the Citadel itself does pay rewards. Like it's not like you're not just holding this thing because you're such a nice guy and you
Yeah,
believe
this
so much in the protocol. Like you're getting rewards out of it.
yes,
It's
and
not just
in
like
fact you get
hold this because you care so much about the community.
that's correct. You get more CL rewards,
Okay,
just like you would in a farm. You'll get rewarded more LP or whatever, that matching what you put in.
got it. And the Citadel rewards pay in what?
In more CL.
More CL. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And then
So
and then on top of that, you can earn additional rewards by taking that CL and I'm sorry, I'm thinking backwards. Never mind. Never mind that.
okay.
We were gonna allow that before. We were gonna allow CL tokens to be staked in the fortress in the boardroom, but that's not happening anymore.
Okay. Why not? Why did you guys decide against doing that? Because it seems to me that like the issue that I'm running into right away is like, why am I going to invest in something where the reward is illiquid? So like if I can't immediately sell it, it's an illiquid reward, which I understand will help to maintain the integrity of the protocol overall, but seems like it would be it might turn certain investors away because you're getting your rewards paid in this thing that, seems somewhat difficult to get rid of, even if I just want to sell half of it. It sounds like I may be waiting around to be able to cash out of it. Um, so why, like, what's the kind of like incentive to hold on to to invest in something to receive the CL token if, it sounds like the rewards are kind of difficult to obtain, or am I missing something?
Um, no, I don't know that you're missing something. It's I guess the intention is to make it a little more difficult to get out. Um, otherwise you're introducing the same type of problem that you would have if it's easy to. I don't want to make it sound like we're trying to make it difficult to get out,
Right.
but like we talked about at the beginning, if the in a typical boardroom that's just issuing peg tokens, it's too easy for everyone just to sell off those peg tokens. So the uh, importance here is put on investors that are seeking a longer term reward and are looking to um, to compound their investment in there. But at the same time, as the protocol grows and more investors come on board, um, that's the rebates functionality. Other than there will be times that the DAO may sell tokens um, on the open market to maintain the peg price or the value of the peg tokens. Um, the only way that somebody new coming into the protocol can get in is by getting the CL tokens, and it may be easier and cheaper for them, and it may be the only availability at the time would be to purchase the CL tokens through rebates functionality.
Got it. And so from Floppy Flopster following up on this, is there going to be some kind of order book for the CL token? Is that what the peer-to-peer sale?
Yeah,
Um,
it'll be somewhat like a centralized exchange of some type, if that's what you mean by an order book. There'll be, buyers and sellers listed or whatever, and it'll match them up based on what some people are willing to sell for and what others are willing to buy for.
got it. Got it. Okay. So Defender, how is Defender different from Champion other than existing on a different chain and having, only having the ETH peg? Is there anything that's kind of different
Champions,
about it? How it
yeah,
works?
it's a little bit different in the boardroom. Instead of having the CL token like Defender does, Champion has an ETF that is a compilation of some blue chip tokens, ETH, Bitcoin, AVAX, USDC, mainly the peg tokens that we use there, and our share token in that protocol, CHAM, form the ETF, and that ETF is the rewards um, for the boardroom. What we call the boardroom in that champion protocol is called trophy room. So that's the rewards there, and it's easier there to take direct profit from that ETF because you can just basically burn that ETF token and get uh, those tokens that are part of that as payment back out uh, for your rewards there.
And what all is in the what all is in the ETF?
It's I don't remember the percentages off the top of my head, but it's a compilation of Bitcoin, Ethereum, AVAX, USDC, and our champion token in that protocol.
I have got the percentages actually in front of me. So it's 25% Bitcoin, 25% ETH, 25% USDC, 12.5% AVAX, and 12.5% CHAM. Do you know specifically how, like, what the reserves are and how they maintain, um, how they maintain the value of the ETF? Like, presumably it's backed by these assets, and they're sitting in a vault of some kind somewhere. Is that how that works,
Yes,
or how do you?
yeah, that's sitting in the uh, Treasury's wallet. Those those tokens are formed by um, sales of the. Let me step back and say something else first. The Fortress in Defender and the Trophy Room uh, in Champion, which are both the boardrooms. Like I said, the peg tokens aren't rewarded there. All the peg tokens that are produced by both protocols, when they're printed, go directly to the DAO, and um, the DAO will sell those as needed um, for income. In Champion's case, it sells those for to get the and form the rewards for the ETF. So as users want, or as investors want the peg tokens that they need to form LP for to put on the farms or whatever, they would buy them from the DAO, uh, and then the funds that they use, which would be either BTC, Ethereum, AVAX, or whatever it is, those hard assets are used to form the ETF rewards that are issued out of Champion.
Do you know what do you know about the runway? Like, what is the kind of, like, what do you guys have in place for a runway to ensure that, the team is still around, and that, I know that there've been, there's a tomb fork that I'm not going to name, because I actually do think that they were good guys, best intentions, but they are gone, and the reason they're gone is that they had no runway. So, particularly with the bear market being what it is, I did for the longest time think that BTC had bottomed. I no longer think that.
Mm-hmm.
So, given that, it's, and again, not financial advice, and I'm not a qualified financial advisor. I am at best a middling trader, with, an interest in technical analysis. So if you're a fundamental analysis guy, then definitely don't listen to anything I'm saying, because all of this is, like, me is based on TA, which I think is, the end all be all of value. But so, you need a runway, because um, we could be crabbing around I mean, even in a good scenario, things could be crabbing around for the next 2 years until the next halvening.
Right.
So what kind of runway do you guys have in place to ensure that you're able to stick around and maintain the protocol, even if things get, 20% worse than they are now?
Yeah, that would be a question. I guess I'm probably not in a position to answer. In my position with the team, that would be a question better asked of um, Aaron, who's the CEO of both protocols, or someone um, would be in a better place to answer that.
That's a fair answer, and I appreciate your candor on that, because that's like a thing that I always like, is in DeFi, but in life, is like, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Uh, so that's a totally fair answer. Um,
I mean, I will say that um, they Champion has been around for several months now, and even with things going down, just like everything else, that it's affected uh, Champion along the way too. But they have stuck that out, and uh, the initial version of Champion was much more similar to uh, a stock tomb fork, and they have fought tooth and nail to come up with new ideas and ways to make it different and better. And the fact that they've have done that and been willing to do that, and then on top of that, to take the initiative to take it even further and move on with Defender, um, just shows me personally there that the intent is there. Um, so that side of it, I can speak for.
Sure thing. For anybody wondering, that is Scorpio Jr. in the background playing with his Legos while we do this. Uh, and if you guys have any, questions for David, please by all means drop them in the AMA chat. I love fielding questions from our audience. You guys are pretty savvy group of DeFi fanatics and investors, and what you guys want to know is, I'm sure, all very good and insightful. And we like to get that. Shout out to Crypto Jester Jason out there in the audience, who is a regular at the Tombheads auction house. Um, so yeah, let me get back to my notes here. Talk to me a bit about the roadmap for Defender. Obviously, Champion started out the way they did with just the one peg to USDC, has since expanded to pegging uh, Ether and Bitcoin, which I think is, if you're going to have three tokens for peg, I think that is a, um, that's a good three to have. Um, what do you guys have similar plans for Defender? Do you have different plans for Defender? Obviously, Champion started with USDC, Defender started with Ether. What are the longer term plans, or is it just kind of like, launch this and deal with what we have on our plate now, or are there other things coming down the road?
No, there are at least a few things coming down the road. Defender will stick with just one um, peg token, but it will be multi-chain. Um, our intent is to launch on Binance. It was supposed to be, toward the end of this month. Where since it got delayed a little bit, we're pushing it past the holidays, and uh, the ETA on our launch is like the 4th or 5th of January um, on the Binance chain. But then either later in January or the first part of February, um, we'll hopefully be launching Defender on the Polygon network as well.
Polygon, definitely a place that you want to be. Their biz dev is second to none. I think that really matters, probably matters more than how good the technology is, frankly. Because I think that we're at a point where, like, L1s, like, what is really the difference between Avalanche and Phantom in terms of the operability of the um, you know network. I mean, they're it's kind of six of one, half a dozen of the other, and I don't think that most investors care much about getting a transaction resolved in 0.00006 seconds faster.
Eh,
Um, and I think that the biz dev side of Polygon um, is definitely like a thing that that's, I think, a wise choice. We had another question from Floppy Flopster, great name, dude, and he wanted to know who your partners were, and they have a list of partners on the website. Their strategic and network partners are Avalanche, Defender. You specifically asked about Beefy and auto compounding. They have a partnership with Yield Wolf. So if you're looking for, yield optimization, that would be the place to go for these. The Interfi network, Phantom, Oxguard, that's all on the champion side. And on the defender side, it looks like we've got Pancake Swap, Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Binance Smart Chain, CoinGecko, and of course Champion Finance, because they're sister protocols. Um,
Yeah, let me throw in there too,
Go ahead.
since you're mentioning the website and stuff. If you guys aren't, whoever's here or anybody that happens to listen to this afterwards, if you're not part of our Discord, definitely get on the Defender Discord and look on there. I started in Champion to make some infographics, diagrams, and some videos on the Champion protocol. I started, even though Defender came along second, I actually started that process with Defender first. And we have some very good technical diagrams and videos that are just kind of animated versions of those diagrams with more details on them that explain in detail, all the stuff we've been talking about today. So feel free to look at those and watch them, and we'll reinforce or maybe answer questions that I didn't explain too well during the day today. But those are all available on our Discord right now.
And your docs are very thorough, so I would like for docs readers, I
Yeah,
would definitely go read them because they're thorough. This is not just like we copied and pasted Tomb Forks um, docs, and they're very very thorough. The champion one especially, there's um, diagrams showing how everything works. Everything's got their the percentages like the bonding premium for your rebates when you want to cash out the Citadel token or the um, what's it called on the champion side, metal token.
uh,
um that's so that's all kind of explained more in depth
yeah.
there.
Some of the Defender docs aren't quite filled out yet, but like you're saying, you can see from the Champion side, those will be done. And I'll take a little bit of credit for that, not in that I did the docs in any way, but because I lit a fire under them, and at times the docs weren't kept up to date, and I said we got to do a better job of this. So they have actually been doing an excellent job. They stay ahead of me sometimes because I have to change the diagrams and the videos at some point because of things they've changed and hadn't kept me up to date on. So they're doing a good job with the docs.
Yeah, and I will say this, like in my capacity of writing for Ape O'Clock, like I've been looking at Defender docs for about a month now, and they're way more filled in than they were a month ago.
Yeah,
So that's, again, to your credit, it shows that you guys are paying attention to this, that you guys are developing everything, and moving forward and getting everything filled in and getting all your ducks in a row. And I think that delaying the launch is not like a bearish sign at all. I think it shows that you're taking it very, very seriously, which is, what people around here like to see because you're going to throw your hard earned magic internet beans at something. You want to make sure that you're going to get more hard earned internet magic beans out of it.
yeah. Let me mention a couple other things that I think are kind of important too that just popped into my head too that I meant to talk about before. Again, a little bit unlike some of the regular Tomb Forks in Defender and even Champion for that matter. Most of them, including Champion, have a just a straight line um, printing of the share token over X number of months, going more to a front loaded version of that. So getting involved at the beginning of the protocol will be a big benefit to investors, especially long term holders, and kind of as a way to hold back inflation on the share token. Um, and all this is in the docs too, but the emissions of the share token will be reduced 10% a month over the 18 months that the lifespan of the emissions of the share token. So there not only will there be fewer people involved up front, but you'll get higher emissions on the front end too. So it pays to be invested at the beginning.
So you guys want to you guys want to prioritize early investors into the ecosystem, which I think is cool. I think that's, you
Sure.
know,
Yep.
definitely a thing that you guys do. Talk to me about the vote escrow tokens and the defender escrowed tokens.
I knew
What
you
the
were going to ask me
like?
about that. That's going to be another area where I'm going to have to. I want to say, well, I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently about it at this point because it's still under development. So on top of that, I don't want to say something that might not be correct. But it will be coming out soon, and all that information, what is available is in the docs already, so you can look at that, and it's similar to another couple protocols, so you could look at, and there's references to some of those in the docs as well, so you can look at those to get an idea. One thing I think is coming along that will be different, that again is kind of tied together between the two protocols, is that the governance token for that yield optimizer in Defender will be the share token in Champion. Um, so that'll give investors in Champion a way to grow their investment there, as well as providing the auto compounding features and voting rights features and stuff that we need into the Defender ecosystem as well.
Yeah, so I mean, it's based on like it always is with vote escrow tokens. It's based to some degree on the Curve finance model, which, at least for a time was quite successful. And that's why it's become a model across ecosystems to, find ways to reward people for both providing liquidity and for, the bribe system that we all know and love so much was pioneered by Curve Finance. So that's, the V tokens
Right.
are based to some degree on that. Is just kind of like the short version, and then the Defender escrow tokens are wrapper tokens, and I'm kind of trying to make sense of this as we speak. Um, but it looks like they're going
Um,
to have different features depending on what they're wrapping.
yeah, well, again, since I wasn't ever involved in Curve, so that's part of the reason that I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. So, but my understanding of it is it's at least some of those tokens were not um, tradable.
No, they're not. They're not
Yes,
at all.
and um, that's the reason for um, the def tokens in Defender, is to make in a way to make those uh, tokens tradable.
Yeah, no, they're not, and not only that, like they're, impossibly expensive to withdraw. I mean, I haven't
Yeah.
been in Curve in so long that I have no idea what the gas fees for taking money out of Curve are at this point, or Convex is actually. I was in Convex, but
No.
which is, it's a place to deposit your Curve tokens. But yeah, I mean, there's like it's very, very expensive. It's very, very difficult. It's not, if you got in early, you probably made a killing, but like, um, I certainly didn't. So, yeah, that's interesting that you guys are coming up with a more innovative solution to this. And I also think, that the running this on a leaner and meaner uh, blockchain that, where transaction fees are much lower,
Yeah.
also
Right.
definitely helps. Another one from Floppy Flopster. He checked the docs, saw the Genesis will last 48 hours.
Hmm.
ETA on when the 48 hours will start. It was originally supposed to be January, but you guys have moved it to when now?
It no, it was originally supposed to be like the third week in December, sometime around now.
Right.
But since we did make it by now, we didn't want to do it between Christmas and New Year's, so we pushed it back past New Year's. So it'll be the end of the first week in January sometime probably.
And where will people in the Discord is where people will probably find out first when the
Yeah, the
launch.
announcements will be in the Discord.
Also, to the point of the launch, if you go to the docs for Defender and you go to the section on the Genesis launch on BSC, is loading right now. You will find the uh, the tokenomics for the reward system on the Genesis launch. You know
Yes,
what the allocation for the rewards are. That's always kind of a bit of game theory because, like, you may get 25% for single staking um, ETH, but that 25% is shared with everybody else who stakes ETH.
that's
So
right.
if I stake, if I'm one of 10,000 people staking ETH, it
Yeah,
makes less sense to do that than it does to be, the one guy single staking BUSD
yeah,
um,
yeah.
versus.
That's always the game part of it.
Right, right. And then it
And
looks like,
and and then it drops down after 12 hours. So do you stay there or do you move it to somewhere else?
yeah, well, 70% of the rewards come from the liquidity pool for the sword token, the sword ETH token, in the remaining 36 hours. So at that point, it kind of just becomes a no brainer. But I would imagine it probably will be because the lion's share of the rewards are going there. Those single stake sham does, could be depending on, but again, you'll have to look, for
Yeah,
yourself and see what it says the percentages. Percentages are obviously never actually percentages. They're just, guesstimates based on emissions. But yeah, and then the depot, which I'm guessing is the boardroom. Um,
the depot is our farms.
oh, it's the farms. Okay. So the farms open after Genesis close, and so does the Citadel, which and then the
And the
boardroom opens 24 hours after the depot opens. So in effect, it opens
Yeah, that gives
24
people.
hours after the end of Genesis. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, that would be correct. Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
because you don't need the boardroom if there's no share token that's been emitted yet.
For sure, for sure.
So
I also want to get at your allocations, so give me a second. I know people are going to want to know about allocation. Where is it? I saw it in here before, but
allocations for what?
mostly for the share, I would think. The share token, I think, is going to be the main thing I would want to know about allocations for. Allocations and emissions. So, like, what percentage goes to the team, what percentage goes to rewards, et cetera, et cetera.
There's a yeah, that should be in the docs. I mean, I have it right in front of me. One of the diagrams that I did shows that right on there. The shield stakers in the fortress, which is the boardroom, 80% of the rewards go to them, 10% goes to the dev fund, and 10% goes to POL.
And having POL, I think, is always good. Dev123 wants to know for your APY what is the exact percentage amount. That's, I think, impossible to say because
Yeah,
um,
that's yeah.
depends on
That
how much is getting staked.
depends.
Again, like APY is never APY is a guesstimate based on what's in the pool.
Right.
What I mean, if you were in Potluck Protocols Bitcoin pool and saw the emissions drop like 50% in 10 seconds, that was me depositing an entire Bitcoin into their pool, like, where I instantly became the, like, 80% of of their Bitcoin, liquidity. So
Yeah, and everybody else is cursing at you.
I needed some place to put it.
Uh,
Uh, he
yeah,
did
you can. I
address
mean,
that.
you can try and work it backwards. The total rewards for the Genesis is listed in the docs. It's 15 um, sword tokens, which is again pegged to 1-to-1 to Ethereum. So in effect, it would be 15 Ethereum. So what is roughly $1,200 times 15? That's the total rewards for the 48 hours. So
And
you can.
also, Dev123, he did say that early investors will be prioritized over later investors when it comes to their um, rewards. So but it doesn't sound like there's any kind of rebasing mechanism as far as I can see.
No, not in Defender. There was in Champion, but it's turned off right at the moment.
Mugshade with a totally fair question. What strategies will the protocol use to earn money?
Um, the well, hopefully the two protocols working together. Champion has a DEX in development that will provide an income source to uh, and the yield optimizer in Defender. Hopefully, we'll do that as well. Um, Outside that, again, that would be a question that some of the other team members would be better able to answer than I am.
And they're available in the Discord, I would imagine. Like they're
Yeah, sure.
around.
They're all there just about every day. Um,
It's always
specifically,
I always like feel a little bad for when we get somebody sent who's not a dev, because while I'm not a technical person, if you're not a dev, even about stuff like this, like there's kind of only so much that you can answer. But I think you've done a really good job. Dev123 wants to know, how do you see Defender Finance being implemented in the Web3 industry, and do you consider making some big partnerships?
yeah, we're open to whatever partnerships. That's been and to be totally upfront with everybody, which I think the rest of the team would want me to be. I think that's been the weakest part uh, for this team has been, I don't want to say their lack of it's their lack of marketing expertise per se, and they're because of that, or in addition to that, their lack of um, knowing people that they can and are able to partner with. I think the team we have here, and the leadership team and the devs for that matter, are some of the top ones that I've seen, that I've been around. But um, getting tied in with the right groups that can take these protocols to the levels that I think they could go has been the hard part. So we're looking into some things now to hopefully help in those areas.
Standing. Anything else from the audience? If you got anything, now's kind of the time to make it happen. Um, Dev123 wants to know what features and mechanisms you've put in place to reduce volatility, which is another huge issue with anything based on the tomb model.
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by volatility. If you're, I mean,
I
there's
would assume with
volatility in.
regard to the peg token or the share token. I don't know, but Dev123, maybe if you could clarify what specifically you mean by volatility for David, you could get a better answer. I think it's a fair question, but I does think it needs some.
One thing we didn't mention, Scorpio, too, at the beginning, is that the team is putting up $200 um, bonus reward, whatever, for attenders to the um, AMA today. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys, to the DeFi Raiders team to determine who and how many to pick out of today's attenders. But then they'll pass that list on to the team at Defender, and once we get launched, those tokens will be awarded to some of you guys today.
So following up on the Dev 123 question, we'll get to the giveaway in a minute. And I think that Relentless, if you got anything to say to me about that, just hit me up in DM and because how specifically we're doing this, I have no idea. But so basically, it's about maintaining peg and making sure that that one of your pegged ETH tokens remains at 1 ETH and isn't, I mean, like, I don't know what Tomb is at right now in ratio um to Phantom, but I know it's not good. uh so how, what kind of are you guys doing to help maintain peg? I know we talked a bit about the Citadel, and how that is a mechanism for discouraging dumping of rewards, but any other mechanisms that you have in place? And Crypto Jester Jason, the homie from Tombhead's Auction House, wanted to get the links dropped in. I will go ahead and start doing that while you kind of explain what, if any, mechanisms there are other than the Citadel
Yeah,
token.
sure.
Yeah.
The main mechanism in both is that the boardrooms in both protocols, Defender and Champion, do not issue the peg token straight to the investors, where it's sold off and then drops below peg. All of the peg tokens that are emitted by both protocols go straight to the DAO treasury, and the DAO then sells those off at a rate that's necessary um, to maintain peg price at the target price that they set. And by doing that, they create the rewards pools um, for both protocols. So if people want to get in, they have to buy the peg tokens through the DAO treasury. They aren't sold, or they aren't printed, through the protocol directly to the investors. So, and if the price gets too low or too high, the DAO can then sell or even buy back tokens on an as needed basis to maintain the price levels of the peg token that they need.
We had a Twitter. Thank you, Dev. We had a Twitter. The Twitter retweet was part of the giveaway. So let me just go ahead and run that. And it was basically that you had to uh, retweet, like, and be present at the AMA. So I'm gonna run the Twitter picker, and I have not heard anything from Relentless. So I'm just saying we're giving away $200. Because I'm a go big or go home kind of guy.
Yes,
Um,
it's $200 worth of tokens from the Defender protocol.
yeah, let's do it. Let's just do it all in one whack. Go ahead and get
Oh,
you.
sounds good to me. One
Yeah,
big winner.
let's send one person home really happy instead of four people home kind of happy. So winner count one, and you have to follow DeFi Raiders and Defender Fi. That's all well and good. Nope. Hold on. Bear with me while we do this in real time, everybody. And Defender Fi.
While you're doing that, and I'm looking at everybody's names and the that's in attendance. I want to know how you guys come up with all these cool names that you think of. I can't ever. I guess I don't have the imagination to do that.
Where did you come up with David?
Yeah, how did I do that? I don't know where that came from.
All right, let's run this.
Like floppy
Looks like the
flopster.
winner is Crypto Jester Jason. Um, Congratulations, Crypto Jester Jason. I don't need to ask if you're in the house because I've given you shout outs twice. I will. Um, oh, wait, no, he's just the first one to come up. Hold on. I think that's.
Oh no, no.
Wait.
You might have to walk that back.
Sorry, dude. Yeah, I gotta walk that one back. That's just the loaded list of people, and you were first on it. I'm sorry, I'm a dick. It's my fault. So now I'm gonna begin the draw. Sorry for rugging you. Though you may not actually be the winner. You may still actually be the winner because I do not see. I do unless shout out if you're in the audience, but I do not see Debashish Sahu in the audience. So you've got like a minute to make your presence here known in the AMA chat. Uh, yeah, I figured it would be fine, Crypto Jester Jason. I know you're pretty laid back dude. But yeah, if you are this person. Oh, you are Dev. Oh, Dev 123. Perfect. Well, are you actually, or are you messing with me? Um, there's no like way to there's no way to verify that, I don't think. But yeah, then you won, Dev 123. Um, I will post the. Hold on, let me put the draw ID in here and verify it for everybody so that you can know that there was no shenanigans. And oops, hold on. Yeah, so the draw ID I will place the link for that in the AMA chat so you guys know that, the guy who won and I'm not just pulling a name out of my butt. That's pretty much it. If you think there's anything we missed, by all means, let us know. And congratulations to Dev123. I think if anybody earned their $200 worth of tokens here, it was definitely you. So yeah, if you have anything in kind of closing, David, or if we have any last minute questions, but otherwise, thank you for your time and thanks for coming through and best of
Yeah,
luck.
thank you for having me. I'll just mention to everybody too, if you do have any other questions, our Discord's always open. I'm there most days. And we have a good group of guys there that can answer your questions too if I happen to not be available, but feel free to post it and hope to see some of you there. That would be great.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks to everybody for coming through. Much love from our community to yours. God bless, and we will see you at the next one of these. Thanks so much.